Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining me every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do share it with your friends and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of a story. Thank you for your kind support. Today, we cover the spread of drugs at rave parties and its effect on teenagers and adults. Let me just add Sanjay Patnaik. 1 second.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Sanjay. How are you?
Fine, very fine, ma'am.
Yeah. So, friends, we are speaking about today. We are speaking about drugs at rave parties and its effects on teenagers and adults, and the exposés that reveal the increased intake of drugs in Bollywood by insiders. So, Sanjat, we're looking forward to your interaction in these topics.
Great, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Okay. Viewers, the popularity of raves or electronic dance music parties has exploded in the recent years, by some estimates increasing tenfold. Raves attract youth. Most attendees are in the teens or early 20s. Older folks may find it harder to recover, go back to work, restore their hearing, or care for their young children after an all-night extravaganza. A deafening, rhythmic, pulsating electronic music that beckons dancing to the beat. It's not only the sound and the lights that are killing, but also the consumption of club drugs, which include ecstasy, gamma, DHB, ketamine, and rohin, which have become popular with participants in raves because they are perceived to enhance energy, endurance, sociability, and sexual arousal. These drugs vary in their pharmacological properties, physiological and psychological effects, and potential consequences. The use of club drugs by young people has increased in the last decade and continue to get modified and evolve, making them very difficult to monitor. Further, these drugs are not picked up by routine drug screening procedures, thereby making these popular with criminals in India. India, which is now going through a phase of social transition, also faces this rising menace. We've seen this through the NCB raids on peddlers and dons who stock drugs. Some youngsters are said to have developed medical emergencies and even die at these rave parties. Sanjay, I would just like to narrate what an investigative journalist described this experience as. So first, you could just
please,
tell us. Yeah, would you like to say something, or would you like me to just continue on that note?
No, please continue, ma'am. I will pitch in.
Okay. An investigative journalist, viewers, has covered the rave experience brilliantly. He writes, the entrance was jammed with young, thin men and women attired in skin-tight fashionable clothing and edgy hairstyles. Drugs were passed around with handshakes, pocket stuffing. Then the party took off. The electronic harmonies started blaring, an overlay for a low-pitched, pulsating, thunderous thud, and electronically coordinated with thin laser lights, expansive colored lights, zebra pattern, wavy, striped, swirling lights that swept and pranced across walls, floors, ceilings, the beat and visuals blending seamlessly. Up, down, sideways, walls, ceilings, floor. It was not possible to pinpoint my position in this three-dimensional space, music, light, continuum. I looked for walls to orient me, but they were shrouded in moving lights. The sensory overload was deliberate. It effectively erased time or space, obscured individuality, overwhelmed thoughts, and submerged intrusive instincts for self-preservation. In this melange of blended, pulsating, formless bodies, I could focus on a few people wearing striped shirts and at times watch them from a discreet balcony. They danced intensely, almost ferociously, non-stop for at least 3 hours. No one spoke. No one communicated. No eye contact was made. No one faced each other. No one performed fancy footsteps for another. No one held hands. No one coordinated their moves with another. No couples danced, nor foursomes. The thunderous drumbeat, the pulsating lights, throbbing floors, and walls depersonalized everyone. The sensorium was abducted by sound light. Nothing else could intrude. I wondered how the brain could process so much sensory input, how vision and hearing pathways were challenged to their limits, how drugs could magnify the experience, and what long term consequences the combination would have on brain circuits. So this is the experience, Sanchez, explained by a journalist who wanted to know what rave parties are all about. So your inputs on this, Sanchez.
Great, great. Ma'am, this is a good opportunity because this session that we discussed, it would be a to and fro. And I think for the first time, viewers, including me, would find your inputs also on some this topic, and which would be very, very interesting and novel session. So I would urge the viewers to stick around because today I would request Meena ma'am to share many of his thoughts. Usually, she represents news in a neutral manner, to be neutral, and even she talks very less whenever there is a panelist. So to allow the panelist. So today is one of those rare opportunities where I am the lucky one who can put on some queries and get some views of Meena ma'am on this topic. So this would be a very, very interesting and unusual session today for the
Don't ask me
viewers.
some hard questions.
No, ma'am, no, not at all. Not
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
See, to the viewers, when we are discussing about this topic, the purpose of this topic is basically about a discussion about drug menace, which is going on currently. And it is not about any particular event as such. As usually we take up some events or some personalities in particular, and we talk about those aspects. But here it would be a broad topic, which is basically drugs. And for me, this Bollywood or movie stars, Indian movie stars getting into is only part of a bigger game. And I would start where it has all started. See, what has happened is nowadays we find that the youngsters and many people actually consider the movie actors or actress as some kind of ideal, and they endorse various products, and people follow whatever they say, and they are to be the benchmark of morality and to follow. So that is the trend which has come in right now, or it is there now. It is not something which has come out of the sky or not natural. Now, to give a brief background of the importance of this drug or rave parties or the actors who are involved, I would like to take them to the background, how this all the genesis of all this, and this is a planned thing. uh, this In my vision, this all started in a very unrelated manner um, with Hitler, Nazis. Viewers would know that Nazis are considered to be pioneer in many things, apart from the inhuman acts that they have done, which was a pioneering act, which is hateful, and they were punished for that, and no one should indulge in that. But apart from those things, they actually invented some things which is still people are exploiting those experiments. Now, example of one of that is the rocket science, which is primarily the new age rocket science is actually ascribed to them. They have made many discoveries. Not only rocket science, it is about the aerospace also. That is aeroplane and that technology. Actually, they have reinvented the entire thing, and today world is using their technology. Even Albert Einstein also, I think, came to USA because of Nazis tortured Jews. So they played good, bad, or ugly. They have played a considerable part. Now, this might seem very distant and not related to current some Kapoor or some Singh or some other guy snorting his way into oblivion in Bollywood. But I will tell the viewers how it is related and why it is so big. See, what happened is during this Nazi period, propaganda through movies were used as a political tool to generate perceptions. So that is how Nazi was able to gather so much of ground support in Germany and elsewhere. And the primary reason was ascribed to the propaganda movies. There, at that point of time, 1930s and 35, they were using silent movies. There was a person called as Goebbels. I think many viewers would have heard about that name, because nowadays he is taken in a derogatory manner. Whenever we see a false propaganda going on in TV panel or something, someone or else utters the name that this is a propaganda like Goebbels. So Goebbels was actually, in my sense, the father of this propaganda machinery through movies, TV posters, and news media and everything. That is why, since he used this medium as a propaganda channeling machine, this Americans and other people also suddenly came to realize that this is a medium which can be used to shape and shape the perception of general public. So initially there were entertainment, there were artists, people were enjoying that. That was pure form of entertainment. And once they realized the power of this medium, what they started to do is they started controlling movie making process itself. CIA is known to have sponsored many producers, many movies, and actors who are planted by them, the producers, writers who are planted by them. The objective of these forces is basically to generate a perception which is conducive to their own thinking. Is the flow correct, ma'am? Any questions still now from the
Yes.
audience? We
No,
can
no,
take on
not at
any
all.
time.
Not at all.
Great,
Please.
great.
That's it.
So please interrupt me if I am talking too
Yeah,
much of
absolutely.
Gyan
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
So please, yeah. So, so what I'm saying is, so once that was decided that movie is a medium, so now the next came the actors or the heroes or heroines. Now, if people think about it, a common person in India. So suppose, for example, the minimum wage act allows that something around 10,000 rupees would be his monthly earning, not more than that. So that means around 300 rupees per day. That is every day taking into account. So a person who earns 300 rupees per day goes to a movie theater, suppose in a village, it costs something around 50 rupees. So he spends around 1/6 of his one day's salary into this movie. That is his sacrifice to see or to get entertained. On the other hand, what do the actors, heroes, or heroines sacrifice for the public? They don't do anything. They just take the money. So actually, the funnel should be ulta. Those actors and actors should be dependent upon the public perception rather than what is happening nowadays, that public is looking up to them to emulate them. So the sacrifice is made by the public, but hero is basically someone who takes money from the public and gives global gam, and some people follow him in style or something else, or even pointers. We will come to this political matters also, how they are shaping it. So in my view, that is something which is deliberate and engineered. It is natural, because we always see heroes glamorized in movies, number one, in advertisements, and even for their interviews when they come on news media or any other interview channels. It is very very artificial, calibrated, and plastic to me. And they make one image. And talking about this image plays a major part, because most of these killings, the murder, in my as we all know, Sushant Singh Rajput was murdered because we believe that he was going to reveal some drastic secrets, and which had a potential danger of harming their image and sending them to prison. So he was murdered. So people are losing lives for this image, and this image is official. And these actor and actresses, as Meena ma'am has told many times, there is only 10, 20, or 25, or less than that, at least 10, max to max 10 people whom we see on TV. Some 2 or 3 Kapoors, some 2 or 3 Khans, and from that cricket world, the dinosaur and his wife. So there is no one else. So basically, it is very controlled. So once output is controlled, so now they have to control the input also. To control the input, these people have to be these actors and actresses have to be controlled to various motivation factors, either fear or prize. So how do they create fear? So they make them addicted to certain substances, so that once they get addicted, they don't have anywhere else to go. So what happens is, Once they get addicted, they want that substance so that they can continue, number one. Second, once they indulge in these illegal activities, they have their videos and audios which are with them. So if they make it out, their entire career is gone. So this is one part. So I would like your views on this broad picture, ma'am. So then we can continue with other things.
See, Sanjat, it's also that see, if you look at all these rave parties, they usually happen in Goa. See, Goa seems to be the hub for drugs because on many instances, when you listen to conversations on on mainstream media, you'll realize that Ria made about 20 visits in a month to Goa. Then there are people, who have been pulled up, by NCB, who are in charge of drug scenario in Goa. There are restaurants there. So why people are going to Goa is very obvious that it's an easy way to get these drugs. Yes, Sanjay? So
yeah,
it's
ma'am,
an easy way.
once you. Yeah. So apart from Goa, I think I remember you mentioning Maldives many times. So
yes,
there's a
Maldives
Maldives
as well.
link. So can
That
you
is for that's
tell us
yes. That what happened was in Sandalwood when Sandalwood was raided by NCB. Vivek Oberoi's brother was being checked for storage of drugs in Bangalore. Okay. So then when they started investigating, they found that there were a couple of actresses in Sandalwood who were actually, going for these parties, and they would have been dealing with peddlers, to give these drugs at parties. And when they looked even deeper, they found that they were, regular visitors to Maldives, where, I'm not too sure, not Maldives, it is Sri Lanka, where they went to nightclubs, and there they used to have drugs. And here there are some Bollywood names as well, Sanjay, in that. So I won't mention the name, but it's the famous couple who's the lady who's into fitness and yoga. So her name was also mentioned. Yeah. So Sandalwood, Tollywood, Mollywood, Bollywood, all of them are infested with drugs.
Yeah. Ma'am, do you think, because see, this Sri Lanka has turned into a den of ISI activities, these Pakistanis, because they cannot come into central India. So they have made their own bases. And apart from ISI, there are talks about Chinese being there. So do you think they might have played a part in recruiting these people and like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Their interference and their promotion of drugs would 100% be there, Sanjay. Anything to destroy India and our fabric, what you call the social fabric in India. Absolutely.
Right. Right. Yeah. So what I think is, ma'am, see, if you see, please.
Yeah. No, please go ahead. Yeah.
Another follow-up question to this, ma'am. In case we see this Khalistani protest which is going on at Delhi border, and we see many singers or actors or actresses actually, they don't have any stake in it, but somehow or they send some tweet or some message. So do you think there might be a link with this gang which are breaking India and this drug cartel and everything? Because I find it very, very uncanny, because these are the same group of people actually who do that.
Yes, there is absolutely, what you're saying is right. There is a link, and all this is used. See, these are all methods to destroy India. So you're 100% right on that. Also, Sanjay, see, if you look at what is a star's life, you're talking about money, fame, adulation. It's all bound to be fraught with hedonism and debauchery.
Right.
In the past, there have been so many reports of Bollywood celebrities being questioned on their drug consumption. NCB has called leading stars and questioned them after watching their WhatsApp chats and raiding their homes. A few years ago, a drug supplier called Bakul Chandaria, he was arrested for supplying drugs worth 12.48 lakhs. And the accused, who has been snapped with Bollywood actors such as Salman Khan and Ranbir Kapoor, confirmed that he has Bollywood A-list actors as his clients. And a Tollywood actress, Madhavi Lata, is one among the above who has asked NBC to investigate Tollywood parties, claiming that the drugs have been flowing into Bollywood and Tollywood parties for many years. So it's like, see, if you would note, in the past several months, I think around 6 months back, Sanjay, see, if you would have seen photographs of these Bollywood actors and producers like Sajid Nadiadwala, Hrithik
Right.
Roshan, all of them
Right.
making a beeline towards Tollywood.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
pictures, yeah, and pictures of them with politicians, visiting big
Right.
producers. Why would big producers in Tollywood, who are already making a lot of money, want to invest money with Bollywood losers? And
Right.
you have ONM also investing in Tollywood movies. So they are trying to again ease the flow, because Bollywood has, people have started boycotting Bollywood movies. So the money still has to flow. So that's one of the reasons,
Right.
Sanjit, I think. Yeah.
Right. Apart from that, I have seen this same cabal of people, these couples and those people who don't can't act and just got into movie business just because their father is there, these
Yeah.
daughters. I have seen these people going for this Pakistani people parties, dancing there, enjoying there,
Yes.
and
Yes.
coming out with stories about humanity, donating to
Yeah.
Pakistan. So, so I also find that, see, there is a cabal. There's a certain 50, 60, or 100 people who are basically involved in Pakistan, and who are basically against our present government also. Even if we do good things, they don't appreciate it. They only do their crying and everything. So somewhere I also find that these things are very unnecessary. And apart from
Yeah.
this, ma'am, there is another angle about this Punjabi singers, the whole ecosystem of this
Yes.
Punjabi singers,
Yeah.
which has built in last 10, 15 or 15 odd years. And right now, after this Khalistani protest which is going on near the borders of Delhi, we see these people also coming in. Any views on that, ma'am?
Just repeat your question, Sanjit. I was just
What
looking
I'm
at the
saying
comments.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, what I'm saying is this Khalistani movement which is going on at Delhi
Yeah.
border.
Yeah.
There are
Yes.
many Punjabi singers are
Yes.
involved, and these
Yeah.
singers have been caught with drugs and everything, and
Yeah.
those things are also going on. So
Yeah.
your views
In
on
fact,
those things, ma'am? Yeah.
yes, yes. In fact, much earlier, Sanjat, I had done a story on, the growth of, poppy fields and drugs, in Punjab. It was,
Right.
it was so widespread, and it was very easy for these people, these farmers, to load them in trucks, and take it directly to Pakistan. So it was a very,
No, no.
a very,
Yeah.
very easy path for them. And
Okay.
how could they do it? You can do it only when you make your own inhabitants, drug addicts.
Right.
So
Could you be more detailed, ma'am? Because I'm not aware of this, and this is a revealing thing to me. So actually,
yeah,
what is it about,
yeah,
madam? Yeah.
yeah. It was a story a long time back when, you remember. See, Modi ji was clamping in on a lot of things about, how the wealth of these farmers, and they were checking
Right.
on these things, and it was revealed that these rich farmers were protesting against a lot of the things that Modi's government was doing, because they were making so much of money. It was like these farms were promoting, like, of course they were growing all these poppies and all these drugs. So what they were doing was coordinating with Pakistan, for
Right.
sending all this through trucks, into Pakistan, and then from there on to other countries. So it
Right.
was a
Right.
regular trade. And if it happens only if you, for example, Sanjat, if you are in a party and you're the only one who takes drugs, you're not going to have
Right.
fun. You see, so
Right.
you've got to
Right.
make everybody else a drug addict for you to enjoy the fact that, see, anyway, you're also going now, take everybody down with you. See, that sort of
Right.
concept,
Right. Right.
So what I wanted to do, Sanjit, I wanted to actually speak to you and the viewers about an insider's view, about what's happening in Bollywood. Can I just read that out for you,
Yeah. Please.
Sanjit,
Please.
and the
Please.
viewers?
Please.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So this inside account is by an actor-producer, Yuvraj S. Singh, who was a close friend of the late star Sushant Singh Rajput. He says that not only does the drug culture prevail in Bollywood, but it is also a way to move around in the industry. He claimed that most A-list actors are addicted to cocaine. There's been a lot of drugs happening for a long time, maybe since the 1970s. At that time, things were different. There wasn't so much exposure on social media. Now it is getting exposed, he said. There are many people in the industry who take cocaine. There are many actors and filmmakers who are on drugs and are roaming around. And that's why this madness is really happening. The actor himself has been offered drugs on many occasions. He said, "Yes, I've been offered drugs many times. It's very normal. Many people operate like this. They take drugs and then they go to parties. This is the way of moving around. In fact, people are getting work because of it. If you do drugs with the right people, the right hero, actress, and director, you form a lobby and a connection. And that is the kind of mindset Bollywood works on. They make an environment, company, and prefer to work in that circle," he said. Literally, over the years, I've realized that these people move around in a circle and they operate in that circle and work with each other. In fact, one of the videos which went viral, that was a drug party, he added, with a seeming reference to the video from Karan Johar's house party last year. The video in question featured Deepika Padukone, Ranbir Kapoor, Malaika Arora, Vicky Kaushal, Varun Dhawan, Shahid Kapoor, Arjun Kapoor. It went viral on social media, with many alleging that the drugs were used at the house party. Yuvraj asserted, "So the drug culture is very prevalent in the industry. You can say on the top 10 or 15 A-listers are pretty much addicted to cocaine. So why not take names?" Yuvraj says he would rather avoid because he needs to protect himself from the wrath of vendetta that drives the industry. "I know these people consume drugs, but I don't have evidence or photographs to prove it. They might file a counter case on me. I don't want my name in that. Also, I'm working in this industry and they will try to sabotage my films. They'll ask my distributors not to release my films. It's a very vendetta-based industry," he said. He was a producer of the hit film Kismat. Giving a hint, Yuvraj continued, "I would give it off by saying that they are top A-list actors. Say 10 to 15 of them, barring Akshay Kumar, who's very clean and honest." That's what he says. This A-list gang has made a lobby. You have to operate within that. There's no way out. The actor continued, "Shakun Batra is my very close friend. He directed Kapoor and Sons and is currently shooting with Deepika Padukone for his next in Goa. He told me that these people are creating this kind of vibe where they want to create their own star and their own people with growing support to nepotism. In fact, drug involvement has also become very normal, which is not good for the industry. The new generation will be discouraged from entering the industry amid all these practices. These things have to be corrected," he added. So this is very, very true, Sanjay, from all that people are saying. You remember what Kangana said.
Yes.
So many people.
Yes, yes. You see, I would, right, madam, I will come to this topic now. For the viewers' sake, I would give them a background how actually these drugs work. There are three types of drugs. One is basically for use for, as they call it, recreational purposes. And many countries have actually legalized that, and people can use that in some certain quantity. And there are a second kind of a drug, which is basically a real deal starts from there. And there is a third which actually harms and is highly addictive. So the first kind, in any case, in India is illegal and it should not be done. And the second kind is basically not that harmful, but considered as a party drug, such as ecstasy or some other drugs, which basically, for a certain period of time, actually arouse various physical emotions such as sexual desire and making love and all those things. So those are used in parties highly. And there is another category actually of drugs, which is crystal meth or cocaine or something, some higher versions such as crocodile, and there are many drugs. Now, the question is, why do people get addicted to drugs and what are the harms? Now, as per science, now what happens is human behavior is controlled by our brain through a feeling of sense of happiness through achievement, happiness through family and friends, happiness through making relationships, and happiness through various adventurous activities or making love or anything. Physically, that is how nature has made us. Now what happens is, in most of these cases of drugs, they produce a signal or a chemical which is dopamine. Either they produce or they help the body in producing the dopamine in very large quantities. So, for example, if I eat a cake, I feel happy. I feel happy because there is a certain surge of dopamine into my brain. What happens is, if I take drugs, so this dopamine level actually shoots up. So suppose I'm
Yeah.
walking with one torch in a dark alley. When I take this drug, instead of only one torch, the light would be of a floodlight, basically
Yeah.
flooding the entire street across, and I would feel ecstated, and I would feel very, very happy. Now, once I feel that happiness and the release of stress, I would like to go back to that same experience. Number one, because I felt happy, and number two, because there was an overload of this happiness, the natural happiness of brain decreases as the use goes on. So as I dig deeper and deeper into it, so I take larger quantities, I get addicted. That is how addiction becomes addiction, and it is very difficult for a person to get out unless he gets support and actually ask for it. And he can. People have done that. People have gotten out of this pit, but it is a it is spiral of towards downward, with where health and psychology everything goes down. So this Bollywood mafia, what they do is, typically these people from middle class background, or typically from outside towns who come with dreams to act in these movies. They go to these movie people to get some role or some other part in their work. So what they do is, in case they find them attractive enough and suitable enough, so they take them into their parties. They force them into drugs. Now, initially, if the person denies taking drugs or taking part in their various debauchery or deviant activities, sexual activities, they would chuck this person out, and those people will not be allowed into the industry itself. That is why
Yeah.
we always see only 10, 15, or 20 people. So, should I continue? Anything else, ma'am? Any
Yeah,
questions till
please.
now?
No, please
Yeah,
continue.
great, great. So this how the cycle goes on. This innocent girl or a boy who comes from a town goes to ask for a job. So the producer or the casting manager sitting out there, or the entire cabal who is sitting out there, they have a ready-made setup there. So they try to actually exploit, not all. They should not be all, but I think more in my view, 99.99% of this Bollywood is corrupt, whatever we are seeing. Unless they are like that, they cannot be at this position at this point of time.
Yeah.
So the viewers should be very, very careful about idealizing them. Now, once
Yes.
they want to trap this girl or boy, so they torture them physically. Number one, that is, they abuse them sexually. Number one, and number two, they get them addicted into drugs by giving them free drugs initially. So what
Yeah.
happens is, the initial there would be some hesitance from the new entrant.
Yeah.
So they give them freely, and three or four people they form a kind of a gang, and gang up on him or her in a party or some office. Because the usual practice is for these producers, like we know many stories where a famous producer, brother of a famous choreographer, has a practice of calling these ladies into his house for discussing
Yes.
projects. And I think Jia Khan and Jia Khan's younger sister also faced similar. So this
Exposed
is a
it.
common
Yes.
practice. Yeah.
Yes.
And they expose their physical parts, and
Mm.
tell them to perform some certain
Yeah.
deviant sexual activities. And
Yes.
in some cases, they force them into alcohol and then
In
drugs.
fact,
Suppose,
yeah.
yeah.
In fact, Sanjat, you remember when we were doing this interview with Lavena Loth, who is who was married to Mahesh
Yes.
Bhatt's nephew. She clearly said that, first of all, that she said that her husband was also into drugs, and he was a drug dealer, a peddler, and that she had seen on Mahesh Bhatt and Mukesh Bhatt's shooting sets where
Right.
young girls, actresses and actors were forced to take drugs because telling them that their acting would be enhanced if they took these drugs. And they would also become physical, as in beating them up, if they did
Yes.
not. So here you have a person like Mahesh Bhatt or Mukesh Bhatt, directors like that, them bringing in a lot of young actors and actresses. Ekta Kapoor also, they pride themselves on bringing new faces into the screen, whether it's TV or films. But the intention is to exploit them because they have nowhere to go in a cosmopolitan city like Mumbai, where rents are high, so high. I mean, they have no place to go. So when they are even fighting to have money to take a rickshaw, they are the ones who are exploited. And Lavina Lodh clearly said that they even had directory. This her husband had a directory where
Right.
they used to have women for selling women around.
Right.
So it's a
Right.
very devious world we are talking about.
Yes, yes, ma'am. See, this is escort business where they push these new girls into escort service, and basically they call it as a talent hunt. I don't know. It is basically a hunt, basically not a talent hunt. It is basically hunting of other human being.
Yes.
So, which is very, very bad. And see, ma'am, the reason that I was talking about CIA and mafia and earlier is that Mumbai mafia is essentially controlled by Pakistan ISI, and Pakistan
Yes.
ISI is controlled by CIA. And for the viewers, CIA is the largest smuggler of drugs in entire world. There is no one who
Yeah.
can beat CIA. I'm telling you, because their funding and everything, funding of terrorism, funding of any kind of activity which is going on in India, that is breaking India activity, some riot or somewhere. These funds come from these drug deals, because these people use this drug money in financing these kind of activities.
Yeah.
So, if the mafia is supporting these producers and directors, or the actors or actresses who are forcing these young girls and boys into this thing, it would be very difficult and near impossible for that boy or girl to get out of their grasp, because
Yeah.
number one, these people are famous people. Media knows them very well. Nothing will come out against them in the media. Number one. Number two, these people are very close with corrupt cops, and these cops are basically in their pockets, so it is very difficult for the cops even to arrest them. And number three, even the politicians also are invited into these rave parties or drug parties, where they are lavished with these drugs, alcohol, and basically sexual favors. And these
Yes.
politicians also cannot open their mouth. So if
Yeah.
police, politician, and press, three are with these guys, so it would be
Yeah.
very difficult for anyone to get out of the trap. So either they have to leave that industry altogether, go back to their native, or if they want to
Yeah.
stay back and sign, then they have to
Mm.
sign boots of these people. There would be some
Yeah.
rare examples where they have come up, and I think Sushant Singh Rajput was one of that.
Mm.
And the reason that he was murdered by these goons is because he did not follow that same pattern. He had his own mind.
Yeah.
He has his own righteousness. I remember that session where we were talking about the national flag. See the
Mm.
kind of feeling he had about our nation. So he is a
Yeah.
common middle class man who loved his nation, who would not go into these things. So he
Yeah.
was
In
murdered and
fact,
weeded out. Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
In fact, see, without naming the person, see, a lady who had come on our show mentioned this. But see, I'll tell you the story without naming the actress. It was
Yeah, yeah,
see, a lady who was quite famous in, say, the 70s and the late 70s and early 80s. She was one of the top heroines, and apparently she got a call from Dubai, from D, Underworld, saying that, see, they wanted her to come for a party or some launch, and she refused. So when she refused, what they did was they physically went,
right,
that very moment, they picked her
right,
up. They got her
right,
there, they gang raped her, picturized
right.
everything, then they dumped her at the airport in Mumbai, in the bathroom. Okay,
That's so
everybody,
horrible. Yeah,
yeah. Apparently, everybody knew about the incident. Finally, she went
right.
abroad. She got herself treated, and then she came back, and she's still now in the industry. But this is the horror if you do not give in to the underworld. See, because they feel that, see, once you become part of Bollywood, that they are a part of their, they belong to them, and anything can be done to them. So this was one case, such case that happened.
Right. Now, ma'am, talking about these rave parties, we continuously hear about these farmhouses,
Yes.
and why is it so? Why are they using these farmhouses? What would be the purpose? You see, not only this recent, even before also we have heard about farmhouses in Goa getting their rave party where 10 or 20 actresses were arrested along with politicians. And incidentally, if I could connect, I think the Republic TV journalist was arrested because he was going
Yes,
snooping around some farmhouse related to the
yes,
Sushant Singh Rajput case. And
yes,
talking about this rape party farmhouse, this was present in Sushant Singh Rajput case also.
yeah,
As
yes.
per you, why are they using this farmhouse and
See,
everything? Would there be
we've been hearing a lot of rumors, Sanjat, which we don't know whether they are true or not. But
right,
some of these famous farmhouses, they say house, children, minors.
right, 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 right?
That. So we're talking about, clearly we're talking about child trafficking. So
Yeah, pedophilia.
just a few days back, apparently some actor was caught, top actor was caught for child trafficking. Okay, so
Yes, yes, yes.
when you talk about a case like what Ekta Kapoor was, she was actually protecting one of the actors recently, saying that he did not rape a young girl in his van. Okay,
Right,
and the mother is a part of the team, the
right,
the TV movies or TV series. So the mother apparently said that she has not been raped, and it was the father who was doing it. But
right, right,
everything stood against this actor. Now, how
right,
come these
right,
people are always involved in this? Why are they, whenever the name of child trafficking or minors or sexual assault comes in, the same names are cropping up. For example, in Sushant's case, it was said
yes,
that there was, in this farm, this famous farm,
yes,
which, how we came to know was that it was hints given by Disha's friend called Steve Pinto.
right, right,
Yeah. So he had given the exact hints as to where the party was, and who was having the birthday party and what was happening at that place. So there was what when we piece the things together like a jigsaw puzzle, there was children being solicited there, and this is what Disha came to know, and Disha exposed it. She told Sushant, and that's how perhaps she was raped and murdered. Now,
right, right.
see, a farmhouse, why when you say, why are these farmhouses, areas of secrecy, and why are they used? See, because they are so secluded from people, and it's far away, nobody comes to know what the crime is, and when you have
Right,
power
right,
and money in your hands. For example, let me just ask you a simple question. A girl, a TikTok artist, Pooja Chavan,
right,
see, how did she die? Why do these people have the same theme, saying that she fell off the top floor and she died,
right,
at a party,
right,
trying to insinuate that she was drunk. And the best thing
right,
is that they
right,
always say that these girls drink and they commit suicide. So
right, right,
when there were so many audio records showing that she was being threatened and something happened, with the minister, so her parents were bribed heavily. So what happens is, these people, when they have the money, they induce these people to come to the farmhouse, whether it
right,
is
right,
Bhaijan's this thing or whatever. These farmhouses are places where I'm sure a lot of crime happens, but none of it comes out.
right. And typically, I've
Yeah.
noticed, ma'am, wherever I've seen farmhouses, they have their walls actually around 10 feet or 15 feet. It is just like
Yes.
some kind of a private
Yes,
kind of
and
a
huge
chain.
dogs.
One cannot have a,
Yeah,
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 huge dogs or some animals, and there will be some guards and security. And
yes,
usually, we don't find those kind of security in a common man's house. But
yeah,
here, people cannot see what is going on inside. And
yeah,
if,
yeah,
if a person is even kept as a prisoner there, no one can know it. And
yes,
these
yes,
people own it. And
yeah,
incidentally, whenever we have found out, most of the time these rape parties or this human trafficking arrests or this torture cells where police have caught guys are from these kind of localities. I think they have a certain modus operandi to say, because just like Jeffrey Epstein actually bought a complete island for these purposes. So these people are not as rich as Jeffrey Epstein. So what they're doing is they are building a land island actually of their farmhouses and doing all these kinds of things there, which is going on.
Sanjat, what I found very strange is, there was a tweet by a minister saying that, see, during COVID, a lot of the children were becoming orphans.
Yes,
So it's very important for the names of these orphans to be reported to the police, or they would be child trafficked by child
yes,
traffickers.
yes, yes,
Okay, now
yes.
this is coming out of the mouth of a top minister. Now, my question back to her was that, could you tell us who are these child traffickers?
Yes.
There was no
Yes.
response. The tweet got deleted. Okay. And the fact is that, see, when you're sitting in a position of power, you can easily do a lot more to, to control the situation, or to start the, at least give us
Yes.
some transparency that you are doing some work and catching these child traffickers. Why I'm telling you, Sanjat, is that earlier, about 6 months back, there was a young police constable, and
Right.
her name was Dhaka, Seema Dhaka. Okay. She, in a matter of 6 months, she brought back 700 trafficked children.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she had no
That is great.
power. Okay. She was only a
Yeah.
constable. Okay. She did get a promotion, but when a
Yes.
young girl, can do that with passion, can't our politicians do it? Don't they owe the nation
Yes. Yes.
something?
Yes.
Don't they owe us something? I mean, how many parents feel safe when they send their children to school or to a picnic, or for a stay, sleepover at a friend's place? You look at the case of Janvi Kukreja. What happened to that
Right.
innocent girl called Janvi? And I'm not telling you that, see, these other two accused that the police are saying, the Mumbai police are saying that the other two are accused. I don't believe they're accused, because this was a party which was similar to the rave party. There was alcohol and
Right.
drugs, and there was music. Now, the boy, the accused number one, very clearly said that he did not know what happened. Somebody attacked Janvi, and he tried to protect her, and he was beaten, and they were, there's so many things happening. He didn't know what happened. Okay. Now, perhaps this boy is telling the truth. And who are the people who are, have, made up, made the arrests and all that? The famous PBS, you know.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
yeah, so there are a lot of loopholes, Sanjat, when the political system, or when these police are working against us. It's very difficult for the common man to bring out the truth.
Right. So, ma'am, if we see, there is a certain pattern to it. There is a certain pattern to it. There are certain people who are known to consume drugs, as per news reports. There is nothing hiding. Yes, but they downplay it. They, when they go outside, there is a wife of a famous actor who is known as some king actor or something. I don't know. I consider him not. I would not consider him as a servant also. But he has
Yeah.
named himself as a king of Bollywood. And I think
Huh.
his wife was also caught in Dubai or someplace else with some narcotic. And not
Yes.
only she, there are numerous these famous actors and actresses who were caught by police or customs at some point of time. And the coterie that they have, the small circle they have, apart from indulging in these kind of narcotics, when these rave parties happen, I am finding a pattern out here where I see young girls, boys, or the aspirant who want to act, either who want to act, who come there of their voluntarily, or there would be in my all thoughts they would be abducted also. No one knows it.
Yeah.
So they abduct them, they beat them, they torture them, they do whatever they want with them, and either they are murdered, no one knows where they have gone, or if
Yeah.
some cases come out, so some other alleged, some Pandu or some Ramu is caught and made accused, and these people go scot free. Even in
Yeah.
case of
Yeah.
Disha Salian, as you said, I believe, I don't know about theories, I believe that some seriously believe that something like that happened. That there was a incident with a girl minor, which Disha did not like. So
Yes.
Disha
Yes.
told to Sushant that she would report it to it. That is what most of the people say, and I
Yes.
also trust in that theory. That
Yeah.
Disha told
Yeah.
that she would be told to the Sushant Singh Rajput, and after Disha's own the one who was supposed to spend his future with her, along with some other this Kangna Ranaut's tormentor's son. So if viewers can know, Kangna Ranaut's tormentor's son was also part of that gang, along with penguins and all those zoo animals. They came along and they killed Disha after abusing, because Disha's postmortem report was very not a regular postmortem report. It directed towards something other. So this all these drugs, parties, people getting exploited in Bollywood. Is a pattern. There's a pattern to it. So
See, Sanjat,
yeah,
if I
please
don't
go
know
ahead.
whether you're aware, see, again, without taking names, I'll tell you the most famous case when you talk about farmhouses. The
Right.
most famous case is that of Sukanya Devi.
Yes, I know. I am aware of that.
So
I think
she, yeah,
Supreme.
she was, yeah. Sukanya Devi's father was a congressperson. They went to a farmhouse. They approached the top guy, and he had his friends over there. And what they did was they gang raped her. And then when she was
Yes,
about to expose it, she and her family were made to disappear. So,
yes, yes,
Sanjay, see, if you remember in the SSR diaries that Deepthi read, you remember one sentence that Sushant has written that Mahesh Bhatt said that Chidambaram had an eye on Alia Bhatt. Now,
yes,
see,
yes.
you clearly see if it's true, there is a nexus.
Yes,
Why I'm telling you this is because, Sanjay, when I was in UAE for so many years, there are a lot of dance bars in
right.
UAE. Okay. Now, see, how I came across this was, there is a very famous Kerala restaurant also just near it in Ajman. So we used to go there because it was more like our food. And just by the side of it, there were these dance bars. It is the same locality. It's the same sort of ground. So the same person must be owning all this. So by
Right.
chance, we did see a door was open, and we could see, young Indian or Asian girls, dancing, and these truck drivers and all those people watching and enjoying whatever.
Right.
Now, when I came to find out more about this, it was not only in Ajman, but all the other places also. And this was owned by a top person, politician in India, running it
Is it
through a
okay?
certain middleman, okay, who was, again, he was pulled up by cops in Delhi, but nothing happened. Okay, so again, I'm telling you, there is a nexus. Everything is
Yes,
connected.
yes,
You're talking about ISI, you're talking about our politicians,
yes.
you're talking about our
Right.
Bollywood people, you're talking about media, activists, NGOs, you know. So let me just tell you one more thing that, I
Yeah.
heard recently in Republic, which I want the viewers to hear. So just give me a patient here.
Please, please. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah.
Please.
Yeah, amid this ongoing drug investigation, Republic Media Network on Sunday interviewed a insider who has attended the parties organized by Bollywood stars, where she alleged that several famous actors and producers from the industry were seen consuming and dealing in a heavy amount of drugs on a regular basis. Revealing the bitter truth about Hollywood mafia, the witness said that during movie shootings and success parties, many actors and producers procure and consume large quantities of drugs ranging from MDM, cocaine, LSD, CBD oil, weed tablets, and other narcotic substances that are injected. She also revealed that certain big Bollywood personalities and their partners who have been working in movies since the 90s are engaged in the sales of drug at their own house, own houses. The witness further stated that a big director and producer who lives in Bandra often gives out his Mumbai villa for organizing these drug parties. She also said politicians join these parties and make use of ambulances for supplying drugs there. Making another massive claim about Sushant Singh Rajput, the witness said the actor was famous for his work but was outcasted by the Bollywood biggies because he did not consume drugs. She said Sushant had visited Goa with his friend some years ago where he was offered drugs, but the actor refused to take it. So, going back to the same thing, the hub is Goa. This is the place where all of these actors go. You remember? Also,
Yes, yes.
Jia's mother was saying that Jia had gone to Goa with Suraj Pancholi, and they were joined
Right.
by Alvira Khan and her husband. And something happened there which upset Jia. You see, so if you look at
Right.
another thing is that you have a restaurant, owned by Dino Moria's brother in Goa.
Right. Right. Right.
So there are
Right.
a lot of
And
connections there.
uh, and the Dino Moria's name actually has come up in this case also. So
Yes.
it's all a mess. So what would be your advice to the youngster viewers who are watching about Bollywood and drugs, man? Because drugs is into small cities also nowadays. I've seen
Yeah.
people, middle class kids going into that. So, what would you advise to them regarding
See, a
this
lot of the
Bollywood and
things
drugs,
is,
ma'am? Yeah.
yeah, a lot of the things is we have to ourselves make people aware through whatever we can, whether it is movies or, small documentaries. We have to make them aware of what are the, end results of taking drugs, and what can happen to you. So these are very important precautions that we have to tell the youngsters about. Then another thing is that parents have to instill children with, faith, spirit, in spirituality, in, that there is a God. I mean, see, whenever you're down, you should know that there are other things that you could do. You could meditate, you could do 100 other things to get away from stress. So, and it's another thing that's very important, Sanjit, is that, whenever, you have peer pressure, the tendency is to do it.
Right.
So
Right.
parents have to instill, within the children, the fact that, see, there's nothing so courageous about, following your peers. If something is bad, just don't do it. And parents have to keep a close eye. I'm not saying that, see, they should be standing behind them all the time, but they have to monitor the kind of friends they have, or the kind of, company they are in, or what are their chats. See, because you never know. See, a very good child can just go into drugs, and then you never get the child back. So it's very important
Right.
that we build awareness. Parents have to be aware. Schools have to educate, and we have to, as filmmakers, as people who are, already, fighting this, create films, create ads that show you the
Right.
truth
Right.
about what happens when you take these drugs.
Now, talking about these movies, ma'am, see that the issue is that the movies that have come out recently, if you see, the heroes would be abusive towards the heroine, and either he would be smoking, and he would be cursing, and he would be going along with his friends, and they show these girls or the heroines or the female protagonist of that actually rebelling against their parents and going along with these things, and eventually everything working out very fine, and they live happily ever after. And the issue with that narrative is generally that doesn't happen. They are actually basically unhappily ever after. And talking
Yeah.
about this peer pressure, ma'am, I remember the present trend which is going on in teenagers these days. There's a thing called as hookah bar. If you're aware,
Yeah.
ma'am, there's a thing called as hookah bar. And I have seen some videos and some viral videos where I can see 13, 14, 15-year-old girls and boys actually going there and spending time and smoking hookah. And as per my knowledge, this is not only hookah bar. There are hookah bars. People go there initially how they start, but after some time, they start these friends who take them to
Adding.
there. They start giving in either some or other kind of
Yes, substances.
the smoking drug
Yeah.
substances. Then that spirals into some other substance, and they are pulled into those
Yes.
things. That is number one. And number two,
Yeah.
other thing I have found a constant this is love jihad angle also, because
Yes. Yes.
these videos where I have seen these are particularly belonging to that angle, and that angle is a fact. We cannot go away from
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
your views on those these hookah bars and everything, I'm out.
Yeah. See,
See,
here again.
as
See,
just a moment,
yeah.
ma'am. To
Yeah.
add to that question,
Yes.
see, as we all had been teenagers, we all had been rebels. We have done things which now, when we look back, we laugh at ourselves. But
Mm.
we had a limit. But I think that limit somewhere is going out. So I would add this question to the other question. So, ma'am, please carry on.
Yeah. See, if you're talking about hookah bars, see, in countries like, UAE, it's supposed to be a fashion where, women and men, even these ladies who wear burqas, they come and, with their manicured nails, they'll have these hookahs, and, all the sweet smell that you smell there is sort of very disgusting, but they've made it a sort of fashion. From fashion,
Right.
then they can put it any sort of thing, drug into the hookah, and you would not know. See, it's the same that, recently cakes and cookies were laced with drugs. People are scared of,
Right. Right.
ice creams being laced with drugs. You know.
Right.
So one thing I want to mention here, Sanjat, is that, see, people have to be very careful about these OTT platforms. You're talking about Netflix, you're talking about all these platforms where what they are trying to do, without your realizing it, is that they are selling you sex, drugs, violence, bad words. See, if a movie does not have these keywords, you know I don't think these platforms accept them. So I remember having a talk with a lady who actually prepares content for these OTT platforms. So I know very well that, see, these keywords are very important for selling their movies. Now, a movie, for example, let me just tell you a little bit of my frustration is that, see, when I keep on checking these OTT channels, when on a weekend when I want to see a movie and relax, I don't find any good movie. Nothing. It will be absolutely like, looking for a needle in a haystack. So what? Now I have another choice. See, I can rent movies for 2 days from the theaters. So there I get some choice where I get some, good movies, classic movies, which I can see. So that's the only choice I have now. But it's very important, viewers, that you note. You just do one, sort of a test. You just go to the keyboard in OTT platforms and search for, some movie, any movie. Just start with the alphabet A, and you will see that all the movies that are coming in that lot are selling sex. So the agenda is, friends, don't think it is to entertain you. It is not to entertain you. It is to sell sex in such a deviant way that you get used to drugs, everything that comes with it. And it corrupts our younger generation. And the younger generation think that having sex and drugs is just fashionable, and it's okay if your Western counterpart is having it and bad mouthing their parents. That's okay. No, it's not okay. Your culture is different. You belong to another country where these things are valued, where your parents are important, where your grandparents are important. You respect elders. So these values have to be taught by parents, where just throwing your parents is not the right thing. In fact, respecting them and looking after them, even when they're old and almost on their going to say goodbye, that's what makes you a better human being. So these things have to, Sanjay, it's very important that our government realize that these OTT platforms are doing as much damage as drugs, and what you call hawala money, and you're talking about what you call guns and terrorism. It's the same thing. Every time we try to suppress Ekta Kapoor film, Karan Kapoor comes with another one, and then when we suppress that one, Farhan Akhtar's sister Zoya comes with the the sleaziest series where every woman is having sex with everyone other than a husband. So these are things that it is not acceptable in our culture. We are taught to respect, and that's why the sanctity of a marriage is most respected in our country.
Yes.
It's very easy to have 100 partners, but it's very difficult to stick to one person and to adjust and make sure that your family goes, is a happy one, and children are, sensible and turn out to be good human beings.
Completely agree, ma'am. To add to that, on those lines, see, for the teenagers, as Meena ma'am said, the bravery or the courage is not wielding to your peers or friends. If someone is doing wrong, you would know it. See, we were also teenagers. We also knew what was wrong and what was right. So it is basically taking that step. So some people say, no, I should take that right because I want to be different or look cool as some other TikTok guy or Netflix or YouTube or other guy. So that is not bravery. That is actually basically giving into something, giving into your temptation. So as our Indian values, we are valued as traditionals, and that is why we are a target. And this OTT platforms have a plan of dismantling our society so that they can
Social
take
fabric.
over, they can do all this social engineering,
See,
what they call it.
yeah, Sanjat, let me take you back to the Janvi Kukreja case. Okay, see, if Janvi comes from a very upper middle class, okay, and her parents are really good. She has another sister as well. Now, let me tell you, see, these are things that others do not observe. I mean, it has not come up in other media. So, if you note it, these three friends actually went to this Yash's house before. They went again. So, this is the first trip. They went on a first trip to the party where they met Yash, and the planning would have started. Okay, without the children, these three children realizing it, there was some plan that was happening at Yash's house. And then these children come back. Okay, and then again, they forced the mother that tell Janvi to come with us, though Janvi was very reluctant to go. So, Janvi said, I don't have my slippers. So her mother said, okay, you take my slippers and you go. So it was just like, though the child did not want to go, she was forced to go. Now, tell me something, Sanjay. See, if I go for a party and I come back, would I want to go to the party again? I wouldn't, because I'd say, okay, that was enough, But
Yes.
something happened, Sanjay. See, when they went there were the criminals who would have done something. Okay. After this, a peddler came, a drug peddler was there. That's what the police said. And alcohol was flowing like water. Now, the combination of alcohol and drugs can have such a bad effect on you. And that's the effect that Shri, would have had when all this happened. See, when you are in these days, as you say, in these rave parties, you don't know what's happening. Then what happens? Anybody attacks you, you won't even be able to see the face or remember the name. So this is the kind of effect that would have happened on these 3 children. And then these people came and just said that these 2 are accused. And it's all, they built a stupid story like the old 70s movie where, jealousy got the better of Janvi and she got killed because of jealousy. I mean, who are you fooling? See, it is a very serious crime. And there is someone who has injected around 42 to 45 wounds on this young girl, including a deep this thing in her skull. So there were gadgets that were used. What was this all shown on dark web? This is something so serious, and I'm just wondering why the parents are quiet. I can't understand it. It's so upsetting. Just like Sushant's case, this has not left my mind. And every time I get a bit of news, I share it with the viewers because I'm so upset about it. It could happen to anyone.
Yes, completely agree, ma'am. And these people are horrible, and basically they mark their prey very early on, and they have a strategy. And the only way out of it is not going into, not getting trapped into this thing. And once you're trapped, don't get afraid, because these people use, apart from drugs, they use blackmailing, that if you don't come with us or if you don't do this, then we would harm your father, mother, parent, or brother or sister. Don't get afraid, because once you give in to that temptation, once you give in to that thing, you in any case, if they want to do something, they would do. So why to surrender? Fight it out. There is a slim chance of you getting out of that place. So that would be my advice to the viewers.
Also, Sanjay, see, there's a problem. See, like Sanjay Shinde is also mentioning. See, outside colleges, outside schools, sometimes what happens is there are people inside the college, authorities, inside the schools, who actually have deals with these drug dealers. And they are the ones who are selling these things to our children. So how do we stop that? See, all this, I mean, whatever Samir Wankade is doing is immense. And it's not only Samir Wankade. I've noticed that a lot of these youngsters in NCB, whether it is in Goa or in Kerala or in Karnataka, they are really acting fiercely against this drug, to weed out the drug system. But what I'm saying is that, see, how much can they do? If we as parents cannot help them, or we as schools and colleges can't help them, then you look at clubs. Even outside clubs, it's sold, or inside clubs, it's sold. You ask for a drink, and you're in a group of friends, and you trust the friend, and the friend gets you a drink. But how do you know that there's something in the drink? So, which means you yourself go to the bar and take a drink. But how do you know the bartender doesn't mix something? You see, so many things. It's such a complicated thing, Sanjay, that, see, unless, everybody, each one of us, we act as police. Now we're talking about you, me, all these people who are listening to us. Everybody is always, vigilant. Many parents think that, see, let's also have a good time. Let the children go out and have. No. As long as your children are responsible adults, the onus is upon you, to make them accountable and make them understand that, see, there is a lot of seriousness in it.
And the thing is that ma'am, most of the society in India especially is conservative and the good people. The problem is that, as you said, OTT and other platforms coming in, what happens is that is the picture of this debauchery or drug abuse or this kind of extramarital or sexual affairs which is going on. These impressionable minds of teenagers think that that is the outside world, which is real world, and the conservative world that we live in is something else. So we should leave it. But no,
Yeah.
it is not like that. So as you said, the first brick is all of us, ourselves, our kids, our as parents, we have to direct them, and that is the only insurance policy. And apart from that, law enforcement agency and ministers would do that. And I think that is the only take that we can take from here, man.
Also one more thing that Sajjad, see, we should notice, I'm just giving you clues. See, if you, for example, I told you about a funeral, that was Ajay Devgan's, father's funeral. If you watch that video, I put the link in the earlier video. If you
Right.
look at that video, and you also watch very closely, take your phone, and you just watch Google News, you will see that there are some people who are always being given PR. Who
Right.
are these people? So they are all a part of this cabal. Now, for example, I'll not name them. There are some starlets who are, supposed to be the what do you call the glam girls, or they do, these
Right.
scenes, dance scenes.
Right.
Now, these girls have absolutely no movies, but they get so much of attention on Google. So, which means if you wear a 15,000, or say
Right.
a
Right.
15 lakh dress, okay, she is seen and they say that she's so hot and all that.
Yes, yes, your heart is melting and befitting reply and all those kind of
yes.
useless
So
things.
now,
Yes.
why you should understand why only certain people are given importance. These people are, the toys of the underworld. They are paid. They are given holidays. Well, for instance, you would have seen 3 or 4 girls who went on holidays to Russia,
Right.
Turkey. Yeah, these are all a part of. They are the handlers give them lollipops or ice cream and say that you go and enjoy yourself. As long as you're with us, nothing is going to happen. So these are all a part of it, Sanjay. See, we are fighting a terrible system where everybody is suspect, right from the politicians to down. Okay, so it's a very frightful system that we are fighting. But start with your home, protect your home first. Then you go on to the other bigger things. If you can do it, well and good. If not, see, at least with your family, be careful, because you don't want your children to go the wrong path.
Agree, ma'am. And apart from that,
Yeah.
another point that you mentioned, which I like, ma'am, is asking the politicians about what have you done about this. Not only
Yeah.
being a tape recorder and saying that bad things are happening. So if a politician is in the position of power, then we as people have to question him. We cannot arrest him
Yeah.
right away as people, but at least we can question him and build that pressure. So
See,
I think that would
Sanjay,
also
see,
help the society.
we are taxpayers. All of us are taxpayers. Okay, these politicians are not working for free. We are paying them. Okay, they're working for us. You have all the right to ask them what are they doing. I keep doing it, and I keep getting blocked by people. People get angry, and I get calls and all that. So people get angry, but it is your right to question them, because they are not sitting in a seat of power because somebody else is paying them. We are paying them. So they better,
Yes.
if you have a ministry, you better do that job. You can't just say that, see, somebody will come and take your children away. No, you can't do that. You better be
Then I have
accountable
seen,
for whatever
yes,
ministry
yes,
you're
yes.
doing. But
I have
what
seen you
happens
doing
is when
that,
the
ma'am. Yeah.
head, yeah, but when the head doesn't take care, the tail can do anything.
Right. Now, I have seen you, ma'am. I remember, particularly in this Sushant Singh Rajput's case, when
Yeah.
before these politicians came in, before this nepotism and
Yes,
depression theory
yes,
was going on, so no one was
yeah,
interested. I saw you on Twitter actually fighting with your old friends actually, although they were on our side, on the same side, we were on the same side. But I saw you vehemently fighting for justice, and because they were not raising voices, you were asking them, why are you not raising voices? Why are you not doing anything? And that is one thing which I admire, that all people should do that. That let us ask questions. It's not about friends or being from not enemies. It is
See,
about
Sanjat,
asking the right
none of
question.
them, none of them asked a question about Sushant Singh. Why?
Yes,
If something happens about the farmers, you'll
yes,
take your, all your armory and go out. Why not Sushant? So you're scared
yes.
Sushant will reveal a lot of things that, point fingers to your politicians?
Right, right,
You see?
right. So ultimately, politician is paid to do a job to serve the
Yes,
population. So unless they're doing
yes,
that, we have every right to question them.
yes, exactly.
And
you know.
Thank you, Meena ma'am. I
They
think
do
it is.
everything. They do everything, Sanjat, everything except they serve us. There are very few people.
Yes,
For
yes, yes.
example, Yogi Adityanath. Look at the kind of work he is doing. He does it quietly, and that's enough for us. We need people like that, who work
One is
and they,
Mr. One is
they walk the
yes.
talk.
Yes, not only
Asa.
Yogi Adityanath, I think in Maharashtra we have Kirit Somaya. I
Kirit
admire
Somaya.
his work.
Yes,
Yeah, and
yes,
he
and
goes
the
and
Assam.
yes,
Yes, absolutely. Kirit Somaya is a person we admire so much, and in fact, Vivekanand works very closely with him. So,
right.
lawyer Vivekanand. So, I get to know a lot about the work that they do, and my admiration goes to him. He doesn't ask for fame. He doesn't ask for any selfies. He never comes, on these Google pages, where he shows that he's thin or he's fat or how much weight he has lost, and then the Bollywood people, all the actors say, "Oh, how thin you've become, or how fat you've become." It's not important. Kirit Somaya does his work, and we
Yes,
need
yes,
people
yes.
like that, Sanjat. So it's been
Completely
very
agree.
interesting, Sanjat. Yeah. And we'll join for another session, interesting session with you. Thank you, viewers, as well.
And this time I got an opportunity from the US side to thank Meena ma'am for for sharing her valuable inputs with us. And it has been really enjoyable. And I think we would do more of these kind because viewers would really love to view your opinions, ma'am, because that is something we always look forward. So we'll have these kind of sessions in future
Yes,
also, ma'am.
more often.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you and good night, Sanjat.
Good night, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good night, viewers.